Straight ahead tonight, patrolling on Halloween night, what officers say they're looking out for.
And police in Ohio said they have arrested 2 dangerous fugitives wanted in a string of crimes around Wisconsin.
And later, less than a week away, a look at the final Marquette Law School poll ahead of next week's elections.
This is News 3 at 10.
Thanks for joining us and happy Halloween. Ghosts, goblins, superheroes, and everything in between are getting their sugar intake tonight on a great evening for trick-or-treating. With the kids, college parties, and drivers out on the roads, Halloween can be a busy night for police.
Well, Madison PD patrolled the streets to make sure people were being safe, but with a new district in the city, they also took the opportunity to build some connections. Our Amy Reed tagged along with one officer while he made his rounds tonight, and she joins us now live. Amy?
Yeah, trick-or-treaters have all but gone home with that curfew hitting just a couple hours ago. But during rush time, the new Midtown district was all in the mix, making sure not only were kids safe, but their candy buckets were full. In trick-or-treating years,
yeah, you want to put it in your pumpkin?
This family is full of professionals.
We've been out for probably 6 years because I'm sure I took her as a newborn.
As long as the payment...
What do you put in that bucket? Do you remember?
Comes in candy. With that experience, Mom Francesca knows the basics.
Well, I always have my husband with me. Don't want to be too outnumbered.
Traveling groups, go when it's light out, have reflectors for when it gets dark.
Okay, let's cross quickly. Quick. Run.
And be careful crossing the street.
You can take 2.
It's advice that hasn't changed in a while, which might not make Officer Chris Marzullo's job any easier.
All right, gentlemen, those are some awesome costumes. Can I give you some candy too?
But it does make it a lot more fun.
Hello. Here you go.
Marzullo logged 5 years with the West District before joining Midtown, which means he knows a lot about those neighborhoods and not as much here.
So we're new to this district. The police department's new to this district. So with that being said, it's a good way to get out into the community for me to meet all of the different neighborhoods.
He said it's a good way to get to know the people, too.
All right, ready?
Swapping out taking down names for taking photos.
It's one of my favorite things to do as a community officer. Just kind of get out and chat with people, hang out with people, get to know them.
He said he'd intervene if he needed to.
What do you got in there?
But for the most part, the kids are safe. Especially with Mom and Dad there to make sure they do it right.
But when we at our intersection, what do? We look and we listen.
And there was some advice that moms had that police didn't, and that was to layer up. It is a little bit chilly out tonight, but you never really know what Wisconsin's going to bring on Halloween.
Yeah, Amy Reed live tonight. Thank you, Amy. Weather tonight really was quite good compared to what we've seen in recent years for those trick-or-treaters. Live picture right there from our Edgewater Sky camera. Still pretty quiet out there tonight. Let's check in with our chief meteorologist, Gary Canalti. He has our first alert forecast. Gary?
Well, now that Halloween's over, we start to look forward to November. And temperatures will be cooling down a little bit over the next couple of days as we look at weather track. There are some mid and high level clouds moved in this evening, but any rain showers have stayed well to our south and to parts of northern Illinois. High temperatures today made it up into the upper 50s to around 60 degrees, about 5 degrees above average for most of southern Wisconsin. Those temperatures have dropped off into the lower 40s right now and will probably be a little colder than last night when we dropped down into the upper 30s. In fact, temperatures already in the mid 30s just north and west of the Dells. By tomorrow morning, I'm thinking temperatures should be down to around the freezing mark or just a little bit above that. But tomorrow, look for partly sunny skies, just a little cooler than today with a high temperature of 52. That's your first alert forecast.
Thank you, Gary. The Wisconsin Department of Transportation says the emergency repairs to the Highway 14 bridge in Mazomanie have been completed. The historic rainfall damaged it and washed out the Wolf Run Trail located underneath. Governor Walker approved an emergency contract in October, and the reconstruction began October 8th, costing an estimated $736,000.
A man in the hospital tonight after being shot several times this afternoon happened in Janesville, and tonight police say they've arrested this man, 22-year-old Dominic Verdina, believed to be the shooter. It happened about 2:30 this afternoon outside the Holiday Park Apartments on Holiday Drive. The victim, identified as a 32-year-old man, the police department says he was shot in the legs, the hand, and the torso, but is expected to survive. They say it appears the shooting was the result of an ongoing feud between the two men. Verdina being charged with attempted second-degree homicide. Two people suspected to be involved in a string of crimes over the last 2 months here in Wisconsin have been arrested in Toledo, Ohio.
34-year-old Samuel Schutte was taken into custody Tuesday night, and Stephanie Retzlaff was arrested this afternoon by U.S. Marshals. Jamie Perez tells us about their past run-ins with law enforcement and what they were wanted for this time. Jamie?
So the sheriff told me that both of them have a history with law enforcement and both are known as drug users. He said that he's just glad that after 2 months of suspected crime sprees, they're no longer serving as a threat to the public.
They were putting the public at risk.
No longer a threat to the public, Schutte and Retzlaff, who have roots here in Wisconsin, are now in the hands of police.
Both of them are no stranger to law enforcement.
Both having criminal histories. This time, they managed to evade police for 2 months. Now held as suspects in a string of crimes.
When you have somebody that is addicted to such powerful drugs as heroin, they do things that they normally would not do.
In the past 2 months and in numerous counties, those things have been armed robbery, theft, fraud, a high-speed chase, burglary, hitting a motorist, eluding arrest, a separate high-speed chase, and a motor vehicle theft. And that's not even the end of it.
There are crimes that we're just discovering now.
But no further details on their arrest were available.
Had people on Facebook compare them to Bonnie and Clyde, but I don't think they're of that caliber.
Not of that caliber, but this is something the sheriff has never dealt with before.
Personally, I don't have this experience.
While he doesn't have that experience himself, Schutte and Retzlaff do.
Both Stephanie and Sam have extensive criminal histories, both. Primarily because of drug use. Principally thefts and fraud.
These things, the sheriff says, are not abnormal for those addicted to drugs.
They have a habit to support, and that's what drug abuse will do.
Well, it took nearly 2 months to detain them.
We knew that they would not allow anything to stand between their way and freedom.
The run of a license plate in Toledo, Ohio, can now get police to the next step.
We're extremely happy that they're in custody. We're very appreciative of the public's support.
The sheriff said these two will face arraignments in every county they're suspected of committing crimes in. They are all state charges.
Jamie Perez reporting tonight. Jamie, thank you.
A local pastor facing prison time after allegedly stealing thousands of dollars from his Fort Atkinson church. Pastor Brian Engfer allegedly stole $13,000 from a fund intended to help the needy. According to court documents, Engfer used that money to buy a car, a country club membership, and pay family members. If convicted, he faces 6 years in prison.
The Marquette Law School has released its latest poll ahead of next week's midterm election. In the race for U.S. Senate, the poll numbers show a widening gap between the candidates. Democratic Senator Tammy Baldwin holds an 11-point lead over Republican challenger Leah Vukmir. But note, 7% still don't know who they will vote for. As for the race for governor, this one is coming down to the wire. Republican incumbent Scott Walker and State Superintendent Tony Evers are tied at 47% support in this race. Walker had a 1-point lead in the poll earlier this month. Both Governor Walker and Tony Evers are doing what they can to reel in those extra votes tonight.
This morning, Evers and his running mate Mandela Barnes rode a school bus, making stops at coffee houses in Platteville and Dodgeville, using the ride as an opportunity to talk about road conditions. Meanwhile, the governor was in Beloit this afternoon, touting the state's low unemployment rate in light of the news today that President Trump is criticizing Speaker of the House Paul Ryan for sharing his opinion about so-called birthright citizenship. We asked the candidates whether they support the process.
It is bizarre that we're talking about having the president overturn something that's in our Constitution. So it's just another way for Donald Trump and Scott Walker to to divert attention from the things that people care about.
I think that's a question you should ask. People running for federal office, that's a federal issue, and I'm focused on the issues governors have to do with their jobs, the economy, schools, all things that we've done better than Tony Evers has in the future.
We also learned today that Tony Evers started receiving security protection from the State Patrol after a Barron County man made a Facebook post about him.
President Trump has launched a pre-election day push to maintain Republican control of Congress, or at least the Senate. Tonight, he kicked off a busy week of last-minute campaigning with a rally in Fort Myers, Florida. Over 6 days, nearly a dozen Make America Great rallies are being held in 8 states. Each of those states supported Trump in 2016. Most now have a Senate seat up for grabs. As for Wisconsin, Vice President Mike Pence will be in Hudson this weekend. Still to come tonight, UW-Madison announces its winter commencement speaker.
And we have new details into the death of modern-day gangster James Whitey Bulger, what we've learned. Coming up next. Welcome back. We're learning new details today about the death of James Whitey Bulger, one of the most notorious modern-day gangsters.
A former federal investigator says a mafia hitman is a suspect in his death. They say Freddie Gias and at least one other inmate are believed to have been involved in 89-year-old Bulger's killing yesterday inside a West Virginia prison. Bulger was a longtime informant for the FBI who provided information on the mafia. In Wisconsin, a new report shows the number of adults in state prisons reached a record high last year. This study from the Wisconsin Policy Forum found nearly 24,000 people were incarcerated in state prisons in 2017. That's up 2.3% from 2016. The report attributes the growth to truth in sentencing laws and more inmates serving time for violent crimes.
The former CEO of the Dane County Boys and Girls Club, Michael Johnson, says he has resigned from his new job in Ohio. Earlier this week, it was announced he had requested a leave of absence as the CEO of the United Way of Greater Cincinnati after just 3 months on the job. Today, Johnson wrote on his Facebook page that he resigned and is planning to move back to Madison. Former Brewers owner and baseball commissioner Bud Selig will speak at the UW's commencement ceremony. The university says Selig will deliver the winter commencement on December 16th at the Kohl Center. Selig earned a bachelor's degree in American institutions from UW-Madison back in 1956 and is one of the university's most involved and supportive alums.
The Madison School Board passed next year's budget today. The vote was supposed to happen during the board's meeting on Monday, but members of the group Freedom Inc. started protesting, expressing its concerns about having educational resource officers in schools. The protest caused board president Mary Burke to adjourn the meeting before members could vote on the proposed $415 million budget. 11,000 tons of phosphorus-soaked sediment has been removed from a portion of Dorn Creek.
It is the first phase of the county's $12 million Suck the Muck initiative. 3 to 4 feet of sediment was removed from the 2.7-mile stretch of Dorn Creek. That's northwest of Lake Mendota. The sediment contained phosphorus, which would have been a major contributor to algae growth in our lakes. The program will eventually cover 33 miles of Dane County streams.
Chief Meteorologist Gary Canolti is here with a look at our forecast.
Well, we've survived Halloween. It was a pretty nice evening out there. Now we turn our attention to November and temperatures that normally head downhill, but it'll be a slow trend, at least in the early going. Let's start out by taking a look, first of all, at Doppler track. There have been some light showers down across central portions of Indiana. That's about the nearest rain of any consequence. Very quiet around here. The live view from the Edgewater Sky Cam downtown Madison. Skies have clouded up a little bit here in town, but as we look at the almanac for today, our high temperature did top out at 58 degrees, our low temperature of 38, both above the average high of 52 and the average low of 34 degrees. Right now, our temperature stands at 41. Skies are mostly cloudy. The air is calm. The dew point temperature in the lower 30s, and that's about where we're expecting temperatures to be, somewhere in the low to mid 30s. The Climate Prediction Center temperature outlook for the month of November, calling for below normal temperatures from southern Wisconsin southward. The highest probability centered over Missouri, Arkansas, into parts of Texas and Oklahoma. Above normal temperatures are expected along the eastern seaboard and across much of the western third of the country, with the highest probabilities right near the west coast. As far as precipitation is concerned, much of the eastern portion of the country, east of the Rockies, expecting above normal precipitation with the highest probabilities of greater than 60% right along the Ohio River into New England. Here in southern Wisconsin, we could be looking at about just shy of a 50% chance of above normal precipitation. Now, looking farther into the future, this is for November, December, and January, calling for above normal temperatures through much of the northern and western parts of the country. This is a typical El Nino weather pattern, and above normal precipitation down to the south through Texas and into Florida and the southeastern part of the country. Equal chances of above or below normal precipitation through much of the country, with below normal precipitation expected out in the northwestern part of the country. And if we look at snow cover right now, there's some snow cover out through Colorado, especially in the mountainous areas, and then north of the U.S.-Canadian border into much of eastern Canada. But notice this little gap here across parts of southwestern and south central Canada. When our winds are out of the northwest, it's coming off of an area that there's still not a lot of snow cover in. So we're not seeing these big blasts of cold air yet. But as we look at weather track, there is some rain to our south, and most of the precipitation, even as we go into the first couple days of November, is going to be in the form of rain, with the snow pretty much confined to the colder areas up near and north of the U.S.-Canadian border. There's another cold front which is dropping southward and will drop our temperatures by a couple more degrees for tomorrow. High temperatures today in the upper 50s here, but notice on the other side of that front, they were in the 40s and lower 50s. Tomorrow will probably be in the low 50s and be back in the 40s for Friday. Current temperatures now are in the 30s just to our north and west, with some pockets of 20s already, but to the south, temperatures are still in the 50s, even at 10 o'clock. And on future track, that rain will stay to our south. We'll see partly sunny skies for tomorrow, and on Friday, we'll see the next weather system start to spread a few more clouds in. That, coupled with the northerly wind flow, will drop our temperatures back into the 40s for high temperatures. Our forecast for tonight calls for partly cloudy skies, a little colder, low dropping to 35 degrees. For tomorrow, a little cooler as well, high temperature of 52, even though skies will be partly sunny. On future track, look for partly cloudy skies tonight, temperatures dropping to the middle 30s. Tomorrow, partly sunny skies, high temperatures in the lower 50s. Tomorrow night, we'll look for low temperatures in the lower 30s, and then look for high temperatures to be in the 40s as we head into Friday. Now, the future track does show some showers out to the west. It's been waffling back and forth on those. I think the better chances of rain are going to be later on in the weekend. In fact, as we look at the 7 to 10 day forecast, I think most of Saturday will be dry as well, but showers will move in from Saturday night into Sunday. Monday and Election Day Tuesday. In fact, by Tuesday night, those could mix with some flurries of snow before ending, and then cool weather on the way for the end of next week with high temperatures only in the low to mid 40s.
Well, hello, November.
Right. That's right on time.
Thank you.
Thanks, Gary. Coming up in sports, the Brewers lose a key member of their coaching staff. Kevin will have the details next in sports.
The Wisconsin men's basketball team is going to be a little short-handed for the near future. Sophomore forward Aleem Ford injured his knee Monday, had surgery today, out indefinitely. The 6'8" forward started 20 games last season, averaging 6 points, 3 boards, and led the team in three-point percentage. Head coach Greg Gard has to do some shuffling, but no panicking as he adjusts without the big man.
It's not as much of a transition or a change as one would think. You know, within what we do, everybody's doing a lot of the same things. It's more on special situation calls, out of bounds plays, those type of things. We just want good basketball players that can make good decisions and play well together.
Number 5 Wisconsin volleyball hosting number 3 Minnesota. Oh, Darth Maul, Black Panther in the house. You know, it's a big deal. Dana Redke going left to right. Not 20, not 25, but 30 kills, most by a Badger in one game in 18 years. Badgers took the first set, but Gophers won 3 straight to put it away. 3-1. Wisconsin falls to 16-5 overall, 9-4 in Big Ten play. I would never blaspheme and say no Giannis, no problem for the Bucks. But that's what happened Monday without one of the best players in the league. The Greek Freak missed the game against the Raptors after going through concussion protocol. The Bucks won by 15. They're the only unbeaten team in the league at 7-0. Giannis says he's a go and feels great heading into tomorrow's game against Boston.
I don't think at any moment they thought, oh, we don't have Giannis out there. They just went out there to win. So this I know we have a great team here. We have a great group of guys, and we're going to keep playing together, keep playing hard, and we're going to have a great year.
Packers general manager Brian Gutekunst said trading Ty Montgomery and HaHa Clinton-Dix wasn't meant to send a message to the locker room. He's just doing what's in the best interest of the team, and the locker room knows where they are headed. The remaining Packers spoke for the first time post-trade, and some of them don't think shipping off Montgomery for a 7th-round pick was meant as a warning shot.
You don't take stuff like that as threats. It's not personal. It's just a part of the game. I mean, if you make certain decisions or whatever, you know, like I said, it's part of the business. So it's going to be a lot of different factors that lead into people coming and going for many years to come. I wouldn't take it as a warning for anybody or, you know, anything like that.
From the preparation perspective, head coach Mike McCarthy said multiple trades made Tuesday a little different. They have to get ready for the Patriots on Sunday night, but McCarthy said he's excited moving forward because losing a guy like HaHa means getting more playing time for multiple players, especially in the defensive backfield.
We have multiple personnel groups, and so I think it's most important to the players that now have opportunities. I mean, there's more opportunities there to play, particularly safety and, the other positions as far as how we move people around. So I'm excited to see these guys step up and take advantage of the opportunity.
The Brewers lost another piece of their puzzle. Pitching coach Derek Johnson leaving, taking the same position with the Reds. The Brewers leaned on an improved starting pitching staff, and the entire staff had the 5th best ERA in baseball. Hitting coach Darnell Coles and bullpen coach Lee Tunnell also no longer with the club. One more break, and then we wrap up the show right after this.
That was worth
Gary Canalti rejoining us. One final check of his forecast.
Starting to cool off down there, especially to the north of Madison, where skies are a little bit clearer. Temperatures there are in the 30s here in Madison. Still 41, but temperatures are in the 40s to our south. The 7 to 10 day forecast, a little cooler for tomorrow, 52 for a high, upper 40s for Friday and Saturday. Right now, those days should be dry, but we'll see some shower chances Saturday night into Sunday. Then again, Monday afternoon into Election Day Tuesday. By Tuesday night, those showers could mix with some flakes of snow. And very chilly for the end of next week. Highs only in the low to mid 40s, and nighttime low temperatures in the 20s and 30s.
Well, I said it all week that Halloween has been a chilly night. I had kids who were sweating coming back tonight. It was a very nice night.
Remember, November's a windy month.
It is a windy month, so be ready for that. It starts in about an hour and a half. Thanks for joining us for News 310.
Do something good. We'll see you tomorrow.
Making plans that are weather dependent? Get an accurate 12-hour, even a 10-day forecast. Download the Channel 3000 First Alert Weather app and start planning.